I wonder what I'm
Okay.
seeing.
So today will be really informal. We'll share a lot about what we learned, insights you had from this past week, that people can really learn a lot from. And if anybody wants to share, their physical sketchbooks and images, that's great. And if not, that's great as well. And then, we'll mostly just share and exchange ideas. And then at the end, we'll draw together for a few minutes. So this will probably be a little bit shorter today, or maybe not, who knows? I don't know what will happen. But I just wanted to open it up to anyone who, wants to share any insights they had. What happened? Did you try working in new ways, like different approaches, or with new tools, different kinds of things to draw with? And if so, what did you discover? Now, it doesn't have to be positive, right? You could have made negative discoveries as well, right? Not everything is always positive, and sometimes knowing what we don't like, right, sets us on the right path to finding what we do like as well, and even in terms of subject matter or materials to work with.
Hi, this is Susan Farrell. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Susan.
I thought this time I would try adding some color to my sketches.
Great.
And I found this really cool little teeny weeny little, where's the pad of paints. And they don't take.
How do they work exactly?
Well, you just put your wet brush on the color.
Great.
So I take one of those brushes that you fill up with water.
Yeah.
And the first time I tried it, I learned that the paint comes out very intense.
Yes, beautiful.
Really, really strong
that's
color.
Good.
And then I wanted to lighten it up, and so I used less and less paint until I could get something that was lighter. And so that was fun because
handy.
It just folds up and fits in my book, my sketchbook. The only thing you have to carry is a water pen or water brush. So
great.
That was fun.
Excuse me, may I ask? I didn't understand. Are you in the States?
Yeah, I'm in California.
California. Okay, no, because I haven't ever seen one of those pads with. I'm in Rome, and I've never seen one with these colored sheets that you can use as a palette. So
well,
I was just
there. I got this from the Museum of Modern Art in Los Angeles. I'm not sure that's exactly what it's called, but I saw it online. And I thought, I need that. It was only $20.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, also, but if I could find it online or even ask at my regular art store, they might, turn out they have it someplace and I've just never noticed it, or they'd order it, because that seems very handy to me to have that instead of, a little paint box or anything like that.
And the other thing I found after I bought this was that I saw that on Amazon, which we all can get, they have little paint palettes that look like those color swatches that the interior designers use on sheets similar to this. They're not as small, so you could probably take out the pages that you wanted to use. So anyway.
Great.
Yeah, sounds good.
And they're called VV Colors or Vivid. What are they called?
Vivia. Where's my
Vivia?
Oh, here's.
There you go. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So you were able to easily add color to your drawing.
It was not. Most of my sketches are intended to be rough sketches, but I decided to add some color just because I wanted to play, and that was the assignment for this week.
Great. And did you enjoy adding color?
Yeah, it was fun. I was a little taken aback by the vividness of it because, as Kelly knows, I paint very pale. So when the brush went down on the paper, I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with such a shocking color? But you learn to adapt.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to share anything that happened this week?
I'll share.
I'll share for a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Who's going first? Sorry.
I'll wait.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you go
Okay,
first. I was
so,
kind of looking for stuff.
Okay, so I'm not real good at speaking, but this was interesting for me. So I made this little teeny tiny book, right?
Great.
And I thought, oh, this is going to be great because I don't have much time. My time is so limited. In the mornings, I thought, well, while I'm eating breakfast, as Kelly suggested, maybe I'll just sketch something real quick. Well, I'm not used to drawing this small. And so that was a real challenge for me to try to get something in really small. And so this past week when we were using different media and stuff like that, I decided to try something different, which was their Faber-Castell Pitt pens. And so I got a few different colors and I thought, okay, well, while I'm sitting there, I'll take the little vase of flowers that I have and I'll start sketching that. So I did that and my time ran out. So I had to stop. So this was actually a 3-day project.
Great.
And so what I did is each day I turned it a little bit so that it would be different. And so this is what I ended up with.
Great.
Can you see that at all? I mean, let me go up closer.
Yeah.
I didn't really fill in any color. I just used the lines and then I used some hash marks and stuff like that. But anyway, long and short of it, the teeny thing is really a challenge for me. I'm used to sketching
that would be
larger.
for me too.
And
Yeah, so that's a good discovery is maybe it's too small. It might be convenient, but it's not really how you like to draw.
Well, sitting here thinking this morning, I was thinking that maybe it's a challenge for me to not try to finish a picture, just to look at a small portion of something and really concentrate on that and study that little area. So
Yeah,
that's what I
so
did.
this is good because it brings up the point of what, like what is the purpose of your sketchbook, right? Is the purpose of your sketchbook to study and, just to keep your drawing skills up? Is the purpose of your sketchbook, to play and experiment and have fun? It's just for you. Is it, to learn new skills? Is it to keep track of ideas like Susan was saying? So this is something is what is your sketchbook for? And really it can be a combination of any of these things. But I think one way in which we don't keep it up is because maybe we have an idea of what our sketchbook should be for, but it doesn't actually interest us, right? Like the idea that we think what we should be doing versus the reality of what we're actually interested and engaged in. Okay. Does anybody else want to share?
Yeah, that was interesting, Kelly. You're saying what it should be, but I noticed that I don't know whether I'm on air or not. Am I?
You're on air,
Okay.
live.
Oh, okay. When I'm actually painting, I almost never do any sketching when I'm focused on what I'm painting when I'm home, when I'm, let's say the studio, but it's home. And so I don't think about sketching when I go out necessarily, unless it's something that I need as a rest for the particular painting, but not paintings. I'm kind of thinking, what can I do? It's great to have a little book and a pencil with it all the time. I think it just jots stuff on.
Yeah, so yours is your sketchbook is for capturing ideas.
For me, it is anyway.
Great. Okay. Does anybody else want to share? Thank you.
I can. I had a hard time breaking away from what I usually do. So I loved your list of try this, try that. And so I was just stuck one day. So I started drawing my hand with ink so I couldn't repair it. I was like, well, that's interesting. And I said, no, I'm supposed to try a new media. So I went crazy in the art supply store and bought all these colored pencils. And I realized I can't tell which ones are watercolor and which ones aren't without practically using a magnifying glass to read them. So then I said, okay, this is mixed media. And I'll try this thing where you copy a master, an old master.
Ah,
And this, I've always liked Van Gogh. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I've always liked it. So this came on Facebook. This is a Van Gogh painting. And I just printed it through Facebook and I said, okay, I like either his brush strokes or his drawing strokes. So I printed it in color and I printed it in black and white and said, okay, I'll try both. This is a copy of Vincent's real work. So then I said, okay, now here I go. I got some colored pencils going and I got carried away. I just made a painting. I couldn't just draw. You know what I mean? I tried to copy Vincent's work using pencils and, oh, there it is. And then I couldn't tell which was going to be watercolory and which wasn't. So then I got the acrylics. I ended up making a small painting copy. So it was kind of a lesson of, I don't know, that I was trying to try new media and do a thing you told me to, and I turned to my same old thing, which was painting. I don't know.
Right. Well, there's
Which
nothing
one?
wrong with getting carried away with something, right? Like, fully engaged in it. That's really nice. A nice exploration too.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Does anyone else want to share?
Yes, me, if you want.
Great. Daniela.
Yeah, actually, I got this nice sketchbook as a Christmas present from my friend Eva. And I think she made it herself following your tutorial. I love it because it's purple and purple is my favorite color.
Oh, nice.
And I hadn't used it yet. So I said, it's time to open it and use
Good
it.
for
And
you. Yes.
so I started always with my Zentangles because I love them, because I get relaxed. And then I tried my graphite, I don't know, watercolor graffiti. I tried to copy a painting that I found on my book of English literature. And then again, I tried again. This is quite scary, creepy, but anyway. Then I tried with watercolor because this is watercolor paper. The first one isn't, because she made this sketchbook with different kind of paper, and yeah, and this is made with my tiger pencil, but it's in purple, and it's a rose that I saw in the garden of the church near my house, and I wanted to draw it in purple or with my color. I think it's great.
It's beautiful. Wow.
But my sketchbook has just one sheet left, I think. So I finished it again.
Wow, well done. Very nice. So
thank you.
You managed to, not make your sketchbook precious and just put it to use. That's really nice. Excellent. And had you used those the water soluble graphite before?
No, that was the first time. So it was completely new to me, and I think I need to manage the technique or the pencil, because I don't know, I have no idea how to use it, so I was just trying.
I don't know either.
Very nice. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else want to share? Okay. So you'll need this. Okay. So I guess all I wanted to say about, I just want to say a little bit, right, about keeping up the habit of sketching. And I think, I would be curious to hear from you about, were you able to sketch pretty much every day? Did you fill your sketchbook? Did you lose interest at some point? And if you did keep sketching, or if you lost interest, did you think about why?
Mm.
Like, why do you think you stayed engaged, or why do you think you lost interest?
I don't know.
Let Pat speak for just a second.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know whether this applies to anybody else. I already have a problem being constant in keeping a sketchbook. I always tend to abandon them after a certain period of time. I have a lot of half-filled ones. But on top of it, I find if I'm actually painting, if I'm working on a given project that's painting, that isn't, I don't sketch at all in between sessions. I'm just concentrated entirely on what I'm doing on the canvas at that moment. So it's really something that I find very useful, relaxing, frustrating, many things between projects that I'm working on in terms of oil paint. But
Yeah.
it's often very frustrating.
Okay. Okay. So maybe you don't always keep it because it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay. Pat, what were you going to say?
Well, I started this. I thought this class would give me some insight on why I can't get to sketch.
Okay.
I have found, bottom line, I have found that I really love doing this. It's just sitting down and doing it. And one of the things that I've noticed is that I lost my train of thought now. I've always looked for a picture to sketch that was going to be a masterpiece in my mind. And
Right.
so I think that prevented me from doing any sketching at all. And last week when I listened to everybody, I realized that a sketch isn't a beautiful masterpiece in my mind.
Yeah. No,
It
it's
is
not.
it is just a sketch, a thought, so I did some two in one day yesterday.
Great.
And that's when I really, and I've done drawing classes before, but this is like quick, you just
Yeah.
don't spend a lot of time, you just do it quick. And I thought this takes a lot of pressure off.
Yeah.
So I'd like to share them if you want.
Absolutely.
I keep, oops, there we go.
There you go.
I
Great.
thought it doesn't have to be for some reason I had in my head, it had to be a scene, a picture of something. So I just sat down at my desk and I thought, there's a cup, I'll sketch it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I thought, okay, there's my book. Why not sketch it?
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm hoping this will get me to sketch more each day.
Yes.
And I think the purpose of this is to do it faster. And I see some people sketch things for their paintings that they're going to do, and they do it so fast. And when you're taking a drawing class, it seems like you have homework and you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to do it. And I realized that you get so much faster at it and more confident in your pencil
Mm.
stroke. So that's
Yes.
what I hope to get back into, maybe every day.
Great. Yes. Taking the pressure off maybe even makes
Yes.
it fun. Yeah.
And then I'm not afraid to use these pretty sketchbooks. Now, this is an old from a classroom, from a class that I did. And I thought, well, I have some empty pages. Why don't I just fill them up? Getting to the nice sketchbooks, I don't know what that's all about. That you just don't want to. You're waiting to do this wonderful masterpiece drawing,
Yes.
and it may never happen.
Yeah, that's right. It may never happen. And then you just have empty sketchbooks.
Yeah. Yes. So there's the choice, the empty sketchbooks, something to look at. I know when I go through my books of drawings that I've done before, I'm thinking, oh, I remember that day. That was a really nice day. Or I remember doing this. And it brings back memories. It's like a travel log of your drawing history.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's right. Thanks for sharing. There's a lot of gold in there, Pat. Yeah.
Mhm.
When you make a drawing of something, even if it's not a masterpiece, um, it really seems to use a different part of your memory, and you remember,
Mhm.
that day, that place, that time exactly. So
It's
I
very
think,
relaxing. And I thought,
Yeah.
why am I not doing more of this every day? It's just wonderful.
that's
It's
great.
Good
just,
point. Good.
it's like you get into a meditative state because you can't think of anything else. You got to think about what you're drawing. So
Yes.
it's a win-win. So I'm sold.
Great. Very good. And you found a way to make it enjoyable for you, right? That works for you, and not what it should be, like
Mhm.
making masterpieces.
I guess I got intimidated when I saw some people's sketchbooks. They were much,
Yeah.
uh, you know, it looked like a travelogue and it's beautiful. Enjoyed it and I thought I could never do that. I could just never do that. Well, I'm sure that person or persons started somewhere and
That's right.
probably started like me, so I'll just keep plugging at it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Kelly, this is
Yes.
Judith.
Hi, Judith.
Tell Pat, I'm telling you, I sketch on my newspaper every morning. So I have nothing to show because I'm throwing it away every day. But
Good for you.
I'm still sort of sound asleep and I've got the paper and my coffee and I just sketch, and then it's not at all precious, but it's just something I see out the window or something that's on my windowsill or something. And it's kind of like doodling in my textbooks when I was in grammar school, which I was famous for and got a lot of trouble for. But it does take away that whole business of they're important, but it's good practice. So I learned
Mhm.
after these 3 weeks to really look at my sketches, and I realized I kind of knew this, that I have trouble with the real perspective. And if I lined up, which I did at some point, I had some in a sketchbook and I lined them up and they all tilted to one side. And I'd never noticed that about my sketches before. They all tilt a little. So I need to work on that.
I was
Great.
gonna get out earlier in the week to do it, and then we had a couple days of drizzle and rain, and I thought, oh, I guess the universe just wanted to see how serious I was about doing these sketches. So I was relegated to my desk to just sketch anything. And that's what was there.
Yes. Yeah. Like sometimes we make subject matter important, right? Sometimes we make the tools we use important. Sometimes we make the paper or the sketchbook, right? Like housing important. But really, for the most part, none of those things actually matter, right? You can use a pencil nub on your morning newspaper, right? And still sketch. But then over time, you will have preferences, right? About paper and about media, like the, pen, pencil, ink, markers, right? You'll have preferences about that. But letting those become excuses is a different story. Okay. Does anybody else want to share either insights you had this week or, I guess what kept you sketching or prevented you from sketching? Yeah, Connie.
I think I've mentioned I'm an elementary art teacher, and this year I haven't been able to teach all my students, so I've created this art trading card wall outside my classroom door. And so to keep the pump primed, I do little art trading cards, and I feel like that's kind of replaced my sketching, because by the time I'm done making 5 to 7 cards a day, I'm kind of done. And so I think, well, okay, I am sketching and the students love it, and that keeps them drawing because they have to trade their art card
Yeah,
for my art card. And anyway, but I look forward to when school's done to be able to have the space just to sketch, what I want to. And I've loved this class because I've been intimidated by sketchbooks. I feel like they have to look professional.
Wow.
And And I feel like I should be able to tear a page out and frame it and hang it up. It should be so
Oh.
nice. But I love that you said we don't have to show our sketchbooks to anybody. That's very freeing.
Yeah, if it makes a difference, make sure you really never show it to anyone, right? Yeah.
I really wanted to ask about these trading card things. Is that, I think that's a great project for adults. I mean, to find a friend who's willing to do this and also is doing sketches, let's say. So you're never going to hang on to the thing that you have. It makes it fun to do, and you want it to look good because somebody else is going to see it. But it isn't so precious that you can't part with it. I like that idea. I'm going to see if I can get a friend who's willing to do it with me, and we just exchange trading cards. Because I don't know, that sounds great to me.
Well, it's been delightful because I've got now 200 trading cards and they're all of my students' work. And every one of them that just makes me smile because they choose whatever they want to draw. So
I don't have any students, but I'm going to find some.
I love
I
that.
could do it. I have a 7 going for 8-year-old granddaughter, and she's game for all of these projects. So I'm going to try doing it with her and see what happens, because I think it sounds like fun.
Great. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah,
I would like to share.
great.
So, it's getting to be spring in Ohio, which is intoxicatingly beautiful. It also means that I'm doing a whole lot more like gardening farm work. So there were days, like some days where the sun was coming in, and I realized you said do something you'd never done. And I've never just sketched outside like a scene, like landscape. I'd never done that. And I have never like sketched just like with charcoal. So I sat in front of these bamboo greens that were glowing in the sun and blowing, and I tried to just capture that light and that movement, and it was like thrilling. Well, here's a sketch. I didn't quite get it, and I feel like I need to go back and either put some highlights or something on it, but I had never done it, so that was exciting.
Great.
And then then I was doing some farm work that really exhausted me, so there was nothing left at the end of the day. And then yesterday I went out. It's like I was going to come upstairs and finish something, because it's been a little disconcerting having all of these like unfinished drawings and feeling like I hadn't developed it to, I mean, these are all potential, but they haven't been resolved. And that's one of my issues, is like figuring out how to resolve sketches or drawings. But then yesterday I just allowed myself to be outside and see, just record what I saw.
Oh,
Beautiful. Yeah.
And it was, and the other thing that I discovered is this is my silo, and then this is like a big pile of cow manure, which has the most amazing profile. It became really interesting. And I also discovered that I had left my pitchfork out. So it was like careful observation and drawing is useful. So I ended up like really, especially that it's hard to use tools that you're not familiar with because your results are not very satisfying. But with this charcoal, like the marks at first didn't look very interesting, but then when I started smushing them, they were amazing. It was so thrilling. They're just like a beginning. And so that felt reassuring as I was working, to know that these are just marks that you're getting. It's an impression, but then you can go back in and you could add ink or whatever, but it, more than anything, it was a liberation about the way that I work, and also discovering like, I just like being outside, but I also wear myself out with all of the work that I do. And so now I have a reason to be outside without having to work, so that was a really good point of
Beautiful
insight.
discovery.
Yeah, I might be able to get this like balance in my life, which now that I have this as a tool, it's great. So thank you for that.
Wow, thanks for sharing. What a beautiful discovery. Yeah. Great. Anyone else want to share? Amazing. Okay.
I think Kim, I don't know if your name is Kim, I'm sorry, but I think you were talking, but I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
where is Kim? I think, oh yeah, there she is, Kim. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear her either. Did you want to say anything? Okay, here, try unmuting yourself again. She's disappeared, I think. Oh no, there you are. We can't hear you for some reason.
If you go down to your mute button and you'll see a little arrow, click on that and select your microphone. Make sure your microphone is selected. I spend a lot of time on Zoom.
I don't ever do
Thank
this,
you,
so I'm
Whitney.
just good.
I'm here, Kelly, don't worry.
You're always the Zoom technician. I know.
Is it good like this?
Yes.
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 thank
Okay,
you.
there we
Oh,
go.
okay, I see the microphone. Okay, okay.
That's why I couldn't speak last time. Now I understand. So, okay, I just worked up the list that Kelly gave us at the end of the workshop. So I first started drawing with both hands at the same time, and also without leaving. So it's,
Oh, not
it's a
lifting the-
self-portrait.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They're fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, without taking the pencil off. Then I did another one that I thought was so ugly, but I just left it because I thought it's just an experiment. It doesn't matter. So I
Oh,
from far away, it actually looks good. Not from very close by, I think.
It looks really good over Zoom. I really
Oh,
like it.
And then I did the negative space thing, 2 little corners of
Beautiful.
my room with plants in them, and I just drew it in with ink a bit, and I then did some pastel work. This is a dream that I
Wow.
had about a tropical environment where my dad fell into the water. So it made a really big impact, so I thought I'll sketch it. And then the last one is with ballpoint. I never do that, so I drew my mother in like 5 minutes, and it actually came out quite nice, I think.
Yeah.
So that were my experiments, and I love them all very much.
Yeah. So what did you learn or discover doing all of these different sketches this week?
It just gave me a lot of freedom. Normally I'm just like, no, it has to be so beautiful, and now I'm just focusing on the only thing I have to do now is this material and this technique, and then I can just go free. So it was really freeing, first of all, and then I discovered I really like ink as well. In the last couple of like my ear drawings, I was like, oh, ink is really nice to work with. So that's
Beautiful.
nice. Yeah.
Very good. And did you take a picture of your own ear?
No, this time I cheated a little bit. I had a book with some sketches that I could try out, and then I just, I did that.
Great.
But-
It's not cheating. You drew it. There's no cheating.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I made I used my laptop for this one, so I just looked up every
That's
time
cool.
to see myself, and then I did that one. So yeah.
Great. Excellent. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll share.
Great. Tanya.
I wanted to paint with colored backgrounds because I've never really drawn or painted with anything like a colored background. And I also wanted to use pastels because I've always hated pastels. I don't know why, but I don't know why. So I started using like gouache and did a gouache background and then did the pastels on top.
Nice.
And I thought that was really cool. And then I
Yeah.
did another one, which was I did a gouache background and I left the area where the dog is white and then
Yeah.
worked in there with the pastels. And that was kind of really fun. And then I learned that you could do an underpainting with a pastel and do all of your tones and then pass over it with alcohol. So I started this like this, and then I did I did this drawing with pastels.
Beautiful.
And with the
Oh.
underpainting, which made me really happy because I've been wanting to work with underpainting and have the colors come through.
Yeah.
So it was really a major revelation, and I realized I really like pastels. They're really great.
Who would have guessed?
Who
You like-
knew?
You like a medium that in theory you hate.
I hate it. I thought it was always cheesy. You would always see those like, you know, landscapes and those flowers and those fluffy
That
animals.
floofy, doofy stuff.
Yeah. Always those really cheesy, you know, those, like there's really bad watercolors too. And then you're like, oh my God. And so I always hated them. And I just never realized how painterly they were. And the other thing was so cool with when you lay down your values in your background to really smoosh around the pastels, and it works like paint. So it was really kind of cool having the two worlds come together. The only thing is that then you like apply fixative, and I don't know, like it's just I guess maybe I was getting too close and was getting kind of matty, but then they would dry and they're okay. But very major revelation, very inspiring.
Excuse me, may I ask a question? I don't know, I have to push a button or something. Listen,
No.
are they oil pastels
can
or
hear you.
powdery kind? Which kind of pastels are you
Powder
using? Powder
kind.
kind.
These,
Yeah.
I'm
Be-
just, yeah, these Conte à Paris,
Oh,
Paris,
yeah, because I
Conte
started,
France kind of thing. So these ones,
but using, oh yeah, I have some of those, but I started using oil pastels fairly recently, which you can then lighten, you know, with turpentine. It's like painting with oil colors, except you're doing it with your hand and a crayon in it. And I find those very, very satisfactory to use. I don't know what to do with them then once I've done it. You know, there I have this thing.
yeah, I was
Joanne,
thinking
can you say a little bit, can you say a little bit about what you mean by underpainting? I'm not totally clear on what that means.
underneath this is this type of underpainting.
Mhm.
So I went in and I studied the values. And so I painted in the darker values where the shadows are in the background and where the sun, you know, the shade on the hat. And then I drew on top, and sometimes you can see where the colors still shine through.
Right. And they're two different mediums?
No, it's all pastels. It's all these. It's all these pastels. And so what I did is that then I took alcohol and so these this is the same medium. So it's just these chalky things, put down this chalky background, then I passed it over with a brush with alcohol, and it became like mushy, painty stuff.
And then you let it dry, or you go over?
Then I let it dry. And then I started working on it. Yeah, I'm thinking for your drawings, this would be really cool, because I'm thinking that your radio and your shows and stuff, and it was just so much fun.
Beautiful.
I feel like I had a major breakthrough. It's like, wow, these are kind of, I mean, I did some other very ugly things too. You know, I thought this was my ugly thing I did. It was like, yuck, I hate this. But I did. But
I like it.
Thank you. But it took, like, I did one every day. And so I'd like work on the computer and like, do a little alcohol thing and then move over. And it was just really fun. I really like having something to do every day that I don't have to, it doesn't have to be precious. It's not like a big A4, letter size thing, but it's a smaller one that I really enjoy keeping a sketchbook. And I definitely, I like solving problems with my sketchbook, things that I'm thinking about. Anyway.
That's pretty good.
Joanne, I love that.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much for sharing that. Okay, does anybody else want to share?
Yes, I tried permanent marker.
Great. Permanent marker.
Oh,
Permanent marker. Yes, and I first experienced just pen drawing a candlestick that I have, and I made a few experiments with that. Then I took this permanent marker and I just made the space between the inside part of
Yeah.
the
Like drawing the spaces, yes.
drawing. Yes, and then I made this. And
Wow.
I think this is
Ooh.
quite interesting. It looks
Yeah.
very much like an etching, you know.
Yeah, like a woodcut or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And
yeah.
have you
Mhm.
ever made drawings like that before?
Neither did I. And it's very. It needs to be very courageous,
Yes,
brave,
bold.
bold.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so you were brave.
Yeah, and then I tried my hand,
Yeah,
Ah,
great, beautiful.
but it's not very successful. I find very difficult to make this concavity
Yes.
appear. It always looks like this rather than like that. I don't know why.
ah.
Yeah, you can find a drawing by like Leonardo Caravaggio, somebody, and copy it with the pose
Okay.
that you want to study, like the
Mhm.
concavity. And
Yeah.
but maybe it could, I don't know, it could be about the overall shape, right, of the hand. I don't know. But you did a lot this week.
Yeah, I did, and this is another permanent marker.
Oh.
It's a metal bird, just the contours of the bird. It's an empty metal bird, and so I combine it with watercolor pencils.
Yeah.
Very
And the
nice.
last one is the reason why I was late today, because I was trying to make, you said, try to be inspired by some painter that you like. So I like Georgia O'Keeffe, and I am actually reading a book that talks about her life, that is about her life. So I was drawing this plant, and this is
Wonderful.
what I am doing right now. Can you see it?
Oh, okay.
Nice. Okay.
I'm trying to.
Excellent. Thank you, Sandra. I can see you're very inspired by sketching and by
Well, yes.
experimenting, like trying new things.
Right. I'm quite tired with pine trees
Yeah.
and trees in general.
Yeah. Do something new. Okay. So why don't we take a little break, just 5 minutes, and we'll come back and we'll sketch together. And anybody who wants to share, there's always time to share. And then we'll finish up after that. Okay, so let's see, it's 49 after, so we'll come back at 55 after, like 5 minutes to the hour. Okay. Okay, so now that we're back, we'll do a little drawing exercise together. So this is meant to be a little mind-bending drawing exercise. So what you'll need is paper, but make sure, like if you're drawing in your sketchbook, make sure it like lays flat, because you don't want to have to hold it with one hand. So you can either weight it down or clip it open, or just have like loose sheets of paper. And you can draw with anything you want. You want it to be something that moves easily, a soft pencil, a pen, a marker, a paintbrush, anything at all. And then I want you to find an object or something to look at. It could be a scene or it can be an object. And if you pick an object, don't pick like a simple object, like don't pick a cup that has all uniform sort of edges. Look for something that has some irregularities. Like I have a African violet sitting on my table and it has all these petals.
What about this?
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. Yes.
Great.
Plants are great. They're complicated, or anything that just has, maybe it's not exactly symmetrical. It'll just be more interesting to draw. So what we'll do is first we're gonna time these drawings so we don't get too involved and fixated on any one. There are going to be 3 drawings. So first we'll draw with our right hand, or our dominant hand. I draw with my right hand. So whatever hand you normally draw with. And then we'll draw with the hand that we normally do not draw with. And then we're going to try drawing with both hands simultaneously. So you will need 2 instruments to draw with. And they can be the same, like 2 pencils, 2 pens, or they can be different, like 2 colored pencils of different colors, or a pen and a marker. It doesn't matter, right? That's completely your preference and up to you. Let's see, I've got a whole thing of colored pencils. Maybe I'll get these. Okay, so does everyone have something to look at?
What's the amount of time that we're going to be drawing?
So we'll just have 3 minutes for each thing. So one way you can draw is you could just study the contour or the outline, right? You could just have your eye follow the outer edge, and right? Or you could zoom in, right? And just draw for like a detail of the whatever you're looking at. Or, right, you can try and draw as much of the whole thing, the outside and the inside, and you may or may not finish, right? But kind of think about in your mind before you start how you're going to approach it. Are you just going to draw the contour, the outside? Are you going to zoom in and draw a detail? Or are you going to try and draw as much as you possibly can in 3 minutes, right? So that's up to you. There's no right answer. Okay.
Kelly, did you say we're drawing with our non-dominant hand first, or?
First, we're going to draw with our dominant hand, whichever one that you normally draw with. Okay. So does everybody know what they're going to do? You have it in your mind? Yeah.
Excuse me, we're picking our own subject. I came back late. I'm sorry. So I missed.
Yeah, that's okay. Just pick something
whether or not
to look at and
I'll
draw.
pick something. Okay. I didn't know whether we were going to draw your plant or whether we were going to draw anything we picked up. Okay.
Yeah. So pick something that's around you that you can see easily, right? And pick a somewhat complex object, just in the sense of that it's not completely symmetrical, like a cup. Even if it's a cup that has a handle, right? So it's not such a uniform outline. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, so we're gonna start our drawing and I'll tell you when 3 minutes is up. Okay, ready and start. Okay, and stop. Wherever you are, it's okay, just stop. Okay, now get a clean piece of paper to draw on so you're not looking at the last drawing that you did. And you can switch the tool that you're drawing with if you want to, or keep the same one if you like it. Now we're going to draw with our non-dominant hand. So the hand you don't normally draw with. And we're going to draw the same thing again. Looking at it in the same way, more or less. Okay, as much as you can in 3 minutes. Ready? And start. Okay, and stop. Okay, now new page. Okay, so this time we're going to draw with both hands simultaneously. Right, so just a couple of words about this because it can be a little bit confusing. So, for example, if you have both hands going, so I would say pick one. If you're looking at an object, right, it's easier if you start on one side or the other, right, and correspond that to your paper. So for example, if I'm gonna start on the left side of my object, with my left hand, I'm gonna kind of go to the left side of the paper. And with my right hand, I'm gonna go sort of in the middle, just so you have enough room to work inside of. I don't know if that communicates, since it's sort of a visual thing. And so what you're going to do is be looking at the object, and I'd say go kind of slow and just move your hands together as you're looking. Move your hands and drawing. So Zoe asked a good question. Are you making one drawing or two? So each hand will be making its own drawing on the same piece of paper. So they might overlap and like get confused. You might like totally lose your place, right? But that's okay. So it's an experiment in drawing with both hands simultaneously, right? It's a little glimpse into the mind of Leonardo, maybe. You could like work with both hands simultaneously. But just try it out and we'll see what happens, right? It's a little experiment. And in this case, it's maybe it's easier to follow, you know, from left around to right, or from right around to left, right? Or you can just go in there and start drawing, whatever seems to somehow make sense to you. Okay.
Okay,
So,
can I
yeah.
ask something? Okay,
Yeah.
so one hand, like, is both hands making one drawing, or like the same thing, but with like that you end up with two of the same thing? Do you know
You'll
what I?
have two drawings of the same thing.
Okay, then
on
yeah,
one
all right.
paper. Yeah,
Great.
I know it's confusing. Okay, we're just gonna try it and see what happens. Okay, 3 minutes. Ready? And we'll start.
Mhm.
Okay. And stop. Okay. So, okay, so stop for a second and sort of step back and look at your drawings, right? Like get some perspective. Look at them individually, right? Like the two side by side, and then the non-dominant. And kind of just look and see, ask yourself, how are they different? Like, how is that? What do you notice about the one with your dominant hand versus the non-dominant hand? And then what do you notice about the difference between drawing with both hands simultaneously and the first two drawings?
With drawing with the both hands, I think that's when I had the most kind of like aha moment was, so this is what I was drawing.
Great.
And this is the both hands side by side.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And what I kind of noticed was that when I was doing it, there were certain curves, like my right hand is used to making curves. It's
Yeah.
used to some familiar shapes. Whereas my left hand was like, what are we doing? Like, what is happening? And so it was so my right hand was like very like, cocky, like we got this. And my left hand's like, I'll try. But it was so much like, it's so much smaller than the other side because it was, my left side's timid, the little, oh, poor little left side. But yeah, I think that's what I think. And I didn't really notice that with the other one. And with the other one, I actually, my right hand, my dominant hand, I don't like as much. I don't think it's as cool. But my left side, when I was just working by itself, I kind of realized that my left, I could only make like little marks at a time, kind of precisely. So it's a bunch of little like choppy marks.
Right.
So yeah, so that's what I noticed.
Well, and it looks like when your left hand was drawing together with your right hand, that the left hand was more fluid.
I think so too. Yeah, I just kind of was going for it. Whereas I think I was trying to control my right hand a little bit more. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So, oh yeah, so Jan says that her left side drawing was smaller too. And Connie says mine too. So they're non-dominant hand.
Yeah.
Right.
comment.
Yeah, great.
I felt like I was teaching a first grade class and all the kids wanted my attention at the same time. My right hand wanted my attention. I was trying to pay attention to my left hand. Yeah, I wasn't, and so I just started to ignore my left hand and just let it do what it was going to do. And here's what I did, this little car.
Oh, great.
So there's my right hand and there's my left hand. It's just this kind of scribbly little squatty thing, whereas this one's a little, except this one isn't as good as when I did it, it just separates because I could focus my attention on that one hand. Anyway.
Yeah. Right. It's like you kind of don't know where to concentrate when you have to draw with both hands simultaneously. Okay. And let's see in the chat. Judith says my non-dominant side was smaller, but a much better drawing. Okay, so that's really interesting, right? Like, what makes it a better drawing in your opinion? Like, what makes a good drawing and why was it better?
I think it was better because I was focused on it. I was thinking so much about it and assuming my right hand would just follow along. I think.
Great. Yeah, that's interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yes, I noticed that when I draw with the left hand, I make more interesting paintings, drawings. they are not just as, it's not trying to be surreal. So it's sort of, I don't know, I like them much better. And I like also the ones that you show, the other people showed better than the right hands. I think they make things more more interesting.
Yeah, so somebody else said that as well. Kim said in the chat, I focused on my dominant hand and let my right hand follow along. Somebody else just said that. But I think it's interesting to note that some of us like our non-dominant hand drawings better. And I'm guessing it's because they have, less control. They're a little bit more maybe expressive. Here's my left hand drawing versus right hand drawing, right? Unfortunately, they're in the same color, but but I think that two together, right? They become, right, each hand sort of has a mind of its own, right? But I think what we're valuing is sort of the free expressiveness of a drawing that sometimes we don't let ourselves have with our dominant hand. We know how to control it.
I agree. And I think so much of a common theme in these past three classes is that we've all expressed like the letting go of perfection, and how we're letting perfection be the enemy of just doing it and the good. And I think there's something with the reason I think I like my left hand better sometimes is, first of all, I do think it looks cooler, but also I went in kind of like with no expectations, and I'm just like, wow, my left hand's quite talented, and I don't give it enough attention during the week. So there's also, again, it's that letting go of what we think, like, oh, we have to make a masterpiece, or this has to be the perspective has to be right, or anything like that. And that's just really nice.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. I can't remember what the order is when I look at my drawings. Am I on the air? No.
You are.
Oh, okay. Because if I look at all three of them, they're basically the same incompetence prevails in all three of them. This was my model, this cast iron horse.
Oh, great.
And if you look at the drawings, you can't tell. This is the first drawing.
Hold it up a little higher.
And then this is this.
Higher.
This is this. Can you see now?
A little lower. Yeah.
Okay, first, second. Now,
They're all
1 second.
really nice.
And one with both hands. So I don't see any qualitative difference. I don't see any greater competence in one over the other, whether it's left hand, right hand, or both hands simultaneously.
Or maybe
they're all kind of equally. I don't think so. Anyway.
Okay, that's an interesting observation,
difference.
though. They seem very similar. That's kind of cool.
Well, I like the drawing with my non-dominant hand.
Yeah.
I don't know why, maybe it is something personal. I like to do things from different points of view. For example, I like to write backwards. I can do
really?
that with my right hand. So when I want, so sometimes it happens, I do that, and it's quite, it helps me in relaxing, I don't know. And it was exactly what happened when I decided to draw with my non-dominant hand. I decided, well, the subject was this, my pencil case open. This is with my dominant one, with the right hand, and this is with my non-dominant. But I prefer this one. Because, I don't know, maybe because I was not concentrated at all, because I was aware that I was going to mess it up. So I was free. I felt relaxed. I said, who cares, even if I draw something very badly? And in the end, I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe more than the other one.
Yeah, so it's nice. There's no pressure in drawing with your non-dominant hand. You don't expect it to be a perfect drawing.
That's right.
Cool.
Can I share?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this is what I was drawing. An old glass I found in a dump. And this is my dominant hand. And by the time I got to my non-dominant hand, I realized that there was a shadow there. But I realized that I couldn't do shading very well. I had very little control about the shading. When I did the two together, it was so much fun. And I ended
like
up
a dancing couple. Yeah.
right. Well, they look like two aunties to me, you know, standing around. You know, but it was just like a pleasure. It was such a release and a play, you know. I love these kind of challenges because they upend everything, you know. So thank you for that.
Yeah, great. Thank you for being such a willing participant.
No, excuse me, I found that I misunderstood, I guess, the exercise, because with the doing both hands together, I was doing one drawing using both hands. Sometimes I let the left hand, sometimes I was doing using the pencils simultaneously, doing different parts of the subject, but it was always one drawing that I was doing with both hands together. So I kind of, I guess, didn't get the exercise straight.
Oh, that's
the same
okay.
thing, Susan.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, and that's okay, right? It's totally fine. You can make two little drawings, or you could work on the same drawing. Maybe it's harder to work on the same drawing.
I don't know. And all three drawings look the same to me. I mean, in terms of ability.
Yes. Okay. Anyone else?
I could say something.
Yeah.
I found that I like the left-handed drawing better because I picked this plant. I hope it's upright. And it's kind of an orphan. It died a couple times and I was trying to make it come back. So I knew it was going to be very imperfect. But when I did the right-handed one, I sort of had predictable shapes. I don't know how to describe it. But when I did the left-handed one, the shapes were less predictable and less perfect. And the leaves are wrinkly and imperfect. So I like that better. But observing two hands doing the same thing.
Can you go back up a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay. I can only see it so teeny. So when I did two hands doing the same thing, I couldn't tell which hand to look at. Someone described that before, the confusion. So I still like the left-handed one better because it shows the leaves being wrinkly, pinkly. It's not like I said, I know how to draw a leaf, blam. You know what I mean? I liked its struggle. So that was interesting. Thank you.
Seems like your left-handed drawing has more movement, like the sense of the movement of, right? Yeah. Leaves are not really they're a living thing. They have a sense of movement.
Yeah, that's a good description. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, well, this is it for our class. So just say a couple of things. I mean, I don't know if you'll continue to keep the sketchbook, but if you're inspired to, I hope that you will. If you really you know, found it, like your curiosity came back to life, your interest in drawing was rekindled, or you know, you explored and found some new ways of sketching that you really enjoy. You know, there are loads of tips and tricks of making a new habit out there, but I think the truth is, unless it's something that just works for you personally, you know, you won't do it. So, you know, and I think part of you know, the discovery in these last couple of weeks was trying to, you know, discover what actually, you know, motivates you individually to keep the sketchbook, right? So I know we all have ideas about what should be in them and how they should look and how they get kept, but really, you know, it's what actually inspires you that counts, right? So for some people, it's keeping it a secret so you can make really bad, ugly scribbles. And, you know, for some people it's doodling. So you can relax your mind when you're, you know, during the day. For some people, maybe it's learning a new skill. For some people, it's about capturing ideas that maybe you could use later for other drawings or paintings, right? Or some combination of any of these things, or something else entirely. Okay, so I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm stopping the recording.